All right, 8th grade, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to unpack something truly epic. You know, every single day, from the exact moment your alarm clock goes off to the second your head hits the pillow at night, you are right in the middle of a massive, invisible choice. It's a choice about power, it's about control, and ultimately, it's about who is actually in charge of your life. We're calling this the tale of two crowns. Now, I know you've got a ton on your minds right now. Classes, sports, whatever's popping off in the group chats, your weekend plans. But what we're talking about today, this is the foundation for absolutely all of it. So, let's get started.
So, I want you to pause for just a second and honestly self-reflect. Who is wearing the crown in your life right now? Like, who or what is actually dictating your daily choices, your habits, and your attitudes? Is it the pressure to fit in? Is it maybe a bad habit you just can't seem to shake? Or is it God? This kind of forces us to realize that someone or something is always wearing the crown. There is no middle ground here. You are always yielding to something.
To really get this, we need to look at the word reign. The Apostle Paul writes in Romans chapter 6, verse 12, that we must not let sin reign in our mortal bodies. When we say reign, we mean to rule, to control, or to command one's life. Think of it like a ruthless dictator. When sin reigns, it acts as a total tyrant over you, bossing you around and telling you exactly how to act, what to say, and how to feel. It's demanding, and honestly, it never leads anywhere good. And God absolutely doesn't want you living under a dictator.
This really builds into our daily routine. You have a choice, yielding to sin or yielding to God. Now, when you have that born-again experience, you receive a completely new beginning in Christ. It is a totally fresh start. But here's the thing. You still have to wake up every single morning and make the active daily choice of who you're going to yield your power to. The crown doesn't just magically stay glued to the right side of your head. You have to choose, say on a Tuesday morning when you're super exhausted and frustrated, whether you are going to yield to that frustration and sin or yield to God.
Paul goes on to explain that we shouldn't present our bodies as instruments, basically meaning tools of unrighteousness. Just think about how tragic it is to take the incredible mind and body God gave you and use it as a tool to do the wrong thing. But man, contrast that with absolute freedom. Presenting yourselves to God as people who are completely brought to life from the dead. You are alive. When you yield to God, your life literally becomes an instrument that creates good, brings peace, and honors the one who made you.
So, the crucial question is, what does this actually look like for an 8th grader? Let's make this real. Your body parts and your mindsets are the literal instruments we're talking about here. Take your hands. Are they typing an encouraging message in a group chat, or are they typing something hurtful? Your eyes. Are you choosing to watch media that builds you up or tears down your spirit? What about your mouth? Are you speaking truth or spreading rumors? And your thoughts and choices. Are you choosing to study honestly for your math test, or are you trying to find some sneaky way to cheat? Every single one of these is a moment where you are deciding who gets to be the king of your life.
Now, I know exactly what you're probably thinking. You're wondering, okay, but what happens when we mess up? Because we all do. We literally all face that inner conflict, that struggle against bad habits. Maybe you promised yourself you wouldn't lash out at your sibling, and, well, you did it anyway. Or maybe you spent hours scrolling when you knew for a fact you should be working. It is totally normal to feel defeated in those moments. But listen, God doesn't leave us stranded under the weight of our mistakes. He gives us the ultimate solution. And that solution is grace. But before we define what grace actually is, we really need to clear up what it is not. Grace does not equal permission. Sometimes it's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking, well, God forgives me anyway, so I can just do whatever I want. No way. Grace is absolutely not a get-out-of-jail-free card. It is not a license to just keep sinning on purpose and expect God to look the other way. If we treat grace like that, we entirely miss out on the incredible power it actually offers us.
So here is the true biblical definition of grace. Grace is God's spiritual resource that empowers believers to resist sin, obey God, and live to please the Father. It is an active, empowering force. It's literally like spiritual rocket fuel. When you feel way too weak to make the right choice, grace is the power that steps in and shatters sin's dominion over you. It fuels your ability to do what is right, even when it's really hard. It's not just forgiveness for the past, it is raw power for the present.
Which brings us to our memory verse for the day. And I want you to read this with absolute conviction. For sin shall not have dominion over you, for you are not under law but under grace. That's Romans 6:14. Memorize this. Write it down somewhere you'll see it. Because when that old habit tries to sneak back in and tell you that it's in charge, you can quote this right back. You possess the spiritual power, right now, to conquer the temptation to do wrong. Sin does not get to boss you around anymore because you live under the empowering force of God's grace.
How awesome is that?
Section 2. The HeroesMart Academy Godly Learner.
Let's pivot for just a minute and look at the HeroesMart Academy Godly Learner philosophy, because everything we just talked about, it's the absolute foundation for your everyday education. Here is exactly why we intertwine biblical morality with your learning. Education without morality, meaning raw intelligence without God-honoring wisdom, can actually hurt you. Seriously, think about it. If you are incredibly smart but you lack a moral compass, your knowledge simply makes you more capable of doing wrong. It literally just makes you a more efficient sinner. But education with wisdom, yielding your choices to God, is exactly what we're after. Knowledge and intelligence should help you make wise, God-honoring choices in the real world.
Our entire philosophy is built on this very action, yielding your body, thoughts, and choices to God. Romans 8:67 teaches us that keeping the mind spiritually minded leads to life and peace. True success in 8th grade and in life in general isn't just about getting an A on your science project, though don't get me wrong, we definitely want you to pursue academic excellence, but true success means passionately pursuing that excellence while keeping your mind completely centered on God, on truth, on wisdom, and on righteous choices. When your mind is governed by the Spirit, the result is life and peace.
So I want to challenge you to take a specific action right now. I want you to mentally take off the crown of sin that tries to control you. Just visualize taking that crown off your own life. Tell whatever bad habit, whatever selfish desire, whatever screen time addiction or toxic friendship that's trying to run the show right now. Nope, you don't reign here anymore. You do not have dominion over my hands, my eyes, or my choices.
And instead, place the Jesus is Lord crown right over your heart. Let Him rule. Let His grace empower you. As we wrap up this explainer and you step into the rest of your week, I want to leave you with this final thought. When you pick up your phone today, or when you sit down to tackle your homework tonight, which crown will be dictating your actions? How will you yield your body, your thoughts, and your choices to God this week? The choice of who reigns is entirely yours. Choose wisely.